She said, "If you don't buy me that $8,000 bag, we're done." In front of her friends at the mall, I said, "Then we're done," and walked away. 2 hours later, security was calling me because she'd used my emergency credit card. I reported it as fraud. The police report changed her attitude fast. I, 29 male, had been dating Brianna, 26 for 2 years. Looking back, the red flags were basically a parade, but I was colorblind from what I thought was love. The incident happened last Saturday. Brianna wanted to go shopping with her friends Courtney and Jenna. Fine by me. I needed to pick up a new suit for a work conference. Anyway, we agreed to meet at the mall, do our separate shopping, then grab lunch. I finished at Men's Warehouse in 20 minutes. She texted saying they were at Nordstrom. So I headed over, found them in the handbag section, and immediately I knew something was up. Brianna had that look, the one where she's already decided she wants something and is just figuring out how to make it happen. "Babe, perfect timing." She grabbed my arm and dragged me to a display. "Look at this BGA Veneta bag. Isn't it stunning?" I looked at the price tag, $8,200. "That's nice," I said, already backing away slowly. "Nice, it's perfect. And Courtney says it would go amazing with that dress I bought last month." Courtney nodded enthusiastically. "It's an investment piece. These actually go up in value." "No, they don't. But whatever, Brianna, that's $8,000 for a bag. So you make good money. You just got that promotion." "Yeah, a promotion to senior analyst, not CEO. That's like 2 months of rent." Here's where it got interesting. She turned to face me fully, hands on her hips, and in front of her friends, the sales associate, and about 6 other customers, she said, "If you don't buy me this bag, we're done." I'm serious. A real man would want to make his woman happy, right, girls? Courtney and Jenna both nodded, smirking. Jenna actually said, "My boyfriend bought me a Chanel last month just because it was Tuesday." I looked at Brianna, really looked at her. 2 years together and she was ready to end it over a bag. "Then we're done." I turned and walked away. The silence behind me was deafening. Then I heard Courtney gasp and Brianna's shriek. "Are you serious right now?" I kept walking, made it to my car, drove home, and started packing her stuff. We didn't live together, thank God, but she had probably half her wardrobe at my place. 2 hours later, my phone rings. Mall security. "Sir, we have someone here who says she's your girlfriend. She attempted to make a purchase that was declined and she's saying there must be a mistake with your credit card. My emergency credit card, the one I kept for actual emergencies. The one hidden in my home office that she didn't know about. That's credit card fraud. I never authorized any purchase. I'd like to file a police report." "Sir, are you sure? She's saying we broke up 2 hours ago in your store. Actually, check your cameras. She has no authorization to use my cards." Long pause. "We'll need to contact the police then. Please do. Update 1. Holy crap. Didn't expect this to blow up. Let me fill you in on what happened after." So the police showed up at Nordstrom. Brianna tried to play it off like we had a little fight and I was being dramatic. The officers weren't buying it, especially after 1. The security footage showed our confrontation and me leaving. 2. She couldn't explain how she got my emergency credit card. 3. She'd already signed for the purchase. Attempted fraud over $5,000 is a felony here. They called me while she was still there. I explained the card was in my locked office drawer and she must have taken it without permission on a previous visit. That changed everything. They arrested her. Arrested. Jenna apparently tried to live stream it and got her phone confiscated as evidence, since she was recording herself, saying Bree's going to get that bag one way or another before the arrest. But here's where Brianna's entitlement went nuclear. Her mom called me at 11 p.m. not to apologize. Oh no, she called to scream at me for humiliating her baby and ruining her reputation. Apparently, Brianna called her from jail crying that I set her up. "Your daughter tried to steal $8,000 from me. She's your girlfriend. You share everything. Was my girlfriend. And no, we don't share credit cards. We steal from each other's homes. You're going to drop these charges right now or I'll sue you for emotional distress." I laughed and hung up. Then Brianna's dad called. Different energy entirely. "Look, Manto man, she made a mistake. You know how women get about shopping. Can't you just let this go? I'll pay you back. Your daughter committed felony fraud. That's not a shopping spree. That's a crime. You really want to ruin her life over a handbag?" She ruined her life over a handbag. I just refused to be her victim. But the best part, remember Courtney and Jenna? These absolute winners started a social media campaign. Hash-free Blair bags. Blair is Brianna's middle name. She goes by it online. They posted that I was financially abusive, that I promised her the bag then trapped her, that I planted my credit card to frame her, that this was all because I was threatened by a successful woman. Brianna works part-time at a yoga studio. I'm not sure what success they're referring to. My buddy Dylan saw the posts and sent me screenshots. Then he did some digging. Turns out Courtney has been arrested twice for shoplifting. Jenna has 3 credit cards in collections. And there's a whole Instagram account called Boo. They brag about their hustle to get luxury items. One post from 3 weeks ago, "When your man won't step up, you gotta step out of his wallet." Yeah, I sent all of this to the prosecutor. Update 2. Brianna got out on bail. Her parents posted it. The first thing she did, show up at my apartment at 2 a.m. with her apology. I have a Ring doorbell, so I didn't even answer, just watched through the app as she went through the stages of grief on my doorstep. Denial. This is all a misunderstanding. Anger. You're seriously going to ruin my life over nothing. You're such a small petty man. Bargaining. If you drop the charges, I'll do anything. We can work this out. I'll even sign something saying I won't ask for expensive gifts. Depression. Ugly crying. I can't have a record. Do you know what this means for me? Acceptance. Just kidding. She went back to anger and started kicking my door. My neighbor, Mr. Rodriguez, came out and told her to leave, or he'd call the cops. She screamed that I was probably following his daughter. Mr. Rodriguez is 73, and his daughter lives across the country before storming off. The next morning, I woke up to 89 messages, not from Brianna. She was blocked from numbers I didn't recognize. Her friends, cousins, random people from her yoga studio, all telling me I was toxic and destroying a beautiful soul. One message stood out. It was from her ex, Trevor. Dude, just saw what happened. Same thing happened to me 2 years ago, but with a car. She tried to take out a loan in my name for a Mercedes. I was too embarrassed to press charges. Don't make my mistake. She'll do this again. I called Trevor. We talked for an hour. Turns out Brianna has a pattern. 1. Date guys with stable jobs. 2. Gradually escalate gift demands. 3. When refused, attempt theft. 4. Play victim when caught. 5. Get parents to bail her out. 6. Repeat. Trevor gave me his lawyer's info and said he'd testify if needed about her pattern of behavior. But here's where it gets wild. Remember that emergency credit card? I pulled the statements. She'd been using it for months. Small purchases I hadn't noticed. $50 here, $100 there. Always just under the amount that would trigger a notification. Total damage about $3,800. She'd been stealing from me the entire time. I sent everything to the prosecutor. The charge got upgraded. Then Courtney made a mistake. She posted a video from inside my apartment. A video from 3 months ago of her and Brianna going through my office. The caption, "Lol helping Bree find her man's hidden assets, girls who support." In the video, you can clearly see Brianna taking photos of my credit cards. Yeah, that went to the prosecutor too. Update 3. The prosecutor offered Brianna a plea deal, plead guilty to 1 count of fraud, pay full restitution, get probation and community service. Her lawyer apparently begged her to take it. She refused. She wanted a trial because she was convinced a jury would see that love makes people do crazy things, and I was the real villain. But while preparing for trial came out, Jenna cracked. Apparently, the police had been investigating her for involvement, and she panicked. She showed up at the station with her lawyer and spilled everything. The bougie on a budget Instagram. It was a guide. They were literally teaching other women how to identify marks men with stable income and low self-esteem, gradually gain access to financial information, make purchases that looked authorized, gaslight when caught. They had a private group chat with 47 members called Bag Ladies, where they shared tips and victories. Brianna was apparently the president of this little fraud club. Some highlights from the chat that Jenna provided. Just convinced Mike that spending $5K on my birthday is normal. He actually apologized for questioning it. Pro tip, take pictures of his cards when he's sleeping. He'll never know. If they threaten to leave over money, they don't really love you anyway. The prosecutor was basically salivating. This wasn't just fraud anymore. This was organized crime. But Brianna's biggest mistake was yet to come. She went on a podcast. A podcast? Some relationship guru thing called Queens Don't Settle. She thought she was telling her side, but instead she admitted to taking the credit card. He left it where I could find it. That's basically permission. Admitted to the previous purchases I was testing if he really loved me. Said I was financially abusive for not buying her designer items despite her emotional labor in the relationship. Claimed she was a victim of the patriarchy. The host, to her credit, looked increasingly uncomfortable and ended the interview early. She also sent me the raw recording where Brianna, thinking the mics were off, said, "I should have taken more when I had the chance. He owes me for 2 years of my life." Update 4. Trial prep was in full swing and Brianna's side was falling apart. Courtney got arrested. Turns out, inspired by Brianna's initial success with the bag purchase attempt, she tried the same thing with her ex. Except her ex had seen my Reddit posts, small world, and was ready. He'd already frozen his cards and filed a police report the moment she broke up with him over refusing to buy her jewelry. She got caught on camera stealing his backup debit card. With Courtney facing her own charges and Jenna cooperating with prosecutors, Brianna was isolated. But did that make her reconsider? Of course not. Instead, she doubled down. She started a TikTok series called Dating While Cancelled, where she tried to spin herself as a victim of toxic masculinity and financial abuse. The comments were not what she expected. "Girl, you stole his credit card. That's a crime, not a dating strategy. This is why I have trust issues." Imagine posting evidence against yourself while awaiting trial. The prosecutor added the TikToks to evidence. Her parents tried one more intervention. Her dad called me again, this time offering $50,000 to drop everything. "Mr. Hayward, your daughter stole from me for months, tried to commit fraud, and is now publicly defaming me. 50 grand doesn't even cover the damage to my reputation." "Then what do you want?" "I want her to face consequences for once in her life." He hung up. But her mom took a different approach. She showed up at my work, security called me down to the lobby, and there she was, designer everything. Fake tears already flowing. Please, she started loud enough for everyone to hear. I'm begging you. She's our only daughter. This will ruin her life. Ma'am, this is my workplace. You need to leave. Not until you agree to drop these ridiculous charges. She loved you. She loved my credit score. That triggered something. She went from fake tears to real rage. You were lucky to have her. Do you know how many men wanted to date her? Real men who wouldn't cry over a little shopping. Security escorted her out, but not before she screamed, "You'll regret this. We have connections." Their connections turned out to be her brother-in-law, who was a personal injury lawyer. He sent me a cease and desist letter for harassment. My lawyer laughed so hard he actually cried. Update 5. Brianna's lawyer quit. Just straight up quit. Apparently, she'd been lying to him too. And when he found out about the podcast and TikToks, he filed to withdraw from the case, citing irreconcilable differences in legal strategy. She had to get a public defender. This PD, bless his heart, took one look at the evidence and immediately tried to get her to take a plea deal. Any plea deal. But Brianna had a new strategy. She fired the public defender and decided to represent herself. Yes, you read that right. She watched a few episodes of Law & Order and decided she was ready. Her first motion to the court to dismiss all charges because, and I quote from the filing, the defendant and plaintiff were in a romantic relationship, which under common law creates an implied financial partnership, whereby all assets are jointly accessible for the maintenance of said relationship's emotional equilibrium. The judge's response? Motion denied. Also, that's not what common law means. Meanwhile, the Bag Ladies group chat got leaked. Someone, probably Jenna trying to save herself, sent it to a drama YouTube channel. It went viral, like 2 million views in 3 days viral. Suddenly, I was getting messages from guys all over the country saying they'd been victims of similar schemes. One guy from Portland lost $30,000 over 6 months. Another from Miami had his identity stolen completely. A class action lawsuit started forming against the Bag Ladies. Guess who was named as the lead defendant? Brianna. But the absolute peak happened the day before trial. Brianna tried to flee. She packed up her car and was heading to Canada when she got pulled over for speeding. The cop ran her license, saw she had court the next day, and called it in. She tried to convince him she was just going on a little vacation to clear her head. With $40,000 in cash in her trunk and a one-way ticket confirmation on her phone, she got arrested for attempting to flee prosecution. No bail this time. Final update, y'all. The trial was something else. Brianna showed up in a green jumpsuit, county lockup cheek, but somehow had managed to do full makeup. She also submitted a handwritten motion to the judge, requesting to wear civilian clothes because orange wasn't her color. Denied. She'd also decided to continue representing herself against literally everyone's advice. Her opening statement was something. She started by saying she was a prisoner of love and that I had manipulated her into depending on him financially through aggressive generosity early in the relationship. The prosecutor asked her to explain what aggressive generosity meant. He would buy me things without me asking. He created an expectation. What things? Birthday gifts, Valentine's Day flowers, dinner, normal relationship gifts, aggressive ones. The prosecutor then showed the jury the credit card statements. Every single purchase she'd made without permission, highlighted and categorized. Brianna tried to object on the grounds that showing evidence was prejudicial. The judge had to turn away to compose himself. When it was my turn to testify, Brianna's cross-examination was basically her asking me increasingly unhinged questions. Isn't it true you never loved me? Objection, the prosecutor said. Relevance sustained. Isn't it true you made more money than me? Yes. So you admit you had financial power over me? I what? Isn't it true that you once said you'd buy me anything when you had food poisoning and I said I'd buy you anything from the pharmacy? Yes. Aha, so you lied about buying me anything. The judge finally stepped in. Miss Hayward, do you have any questions relevant to the actual charges? This is all relevant. He created a hostile financial environment. That's not a thing. Trevor testified about her pattern. 3 other exes came forward and testified via video link. Each told the same story, escalating financial demands, theft when refused, playing victim when caught. But the most damaging testimony came from Jenna. She brought receipts, literal receipts. The Bag Ladies had been requiring members to submit monthly earnings reports, showing what they'd extracted from their boyfriends. Brianna's reports showed she'd taken almost $50,000 from various men over 3 years, not including failed attempts like mine. Brianna's closing argument was just her crying and saying this was all a conspiracy because I was threatened by successful women and that the jury should follow their hearts, not the law. The prosecutor's closing was just him pointing at the evidence table and saying, "She did it. We have proof. The end." The jury deliberated for 37 minutes. Guilty on all counts. At sentencing, Brianna's parents hired a new lawyer to make a last-ditch effort. This lawyer argued for minimum sentence, citing Brianna's difficult upbringing, upper middle class, her mental health struggles, never diagnosed, and her potential for rehabilitation. Zero remorse shown. The judge wasn't having it. He said this was one of the most clear-cut cases of fraud he'd seen, aggravated by the attempt to flee and the complete lack of accountability. The sentence: 18 months in prison, 3 years probation, full restitution to all victims identified, and 500 hours of community service at a financial literacy nonprofit. Brianna screamed, "This is because I'm pretty, isn't it? You all hate pretty women." Her mom fainted. Her dad tried to rush at me but was stopped by security. Courtney was in the gallery and tried to start a Free Brianna chant. She was the only one chanting. So where is everyone now? Currently serving her sentence. According to a mutual acquaintance who works at the prison, she's trying to start a business coaching program for other inmates. It's not going well. Her parents filed for bankruptcy after the class action lawsuit judgments. Her mom started a blog about surviving your child's incarceration that has 4 readers, all bots. Courtney pleaded guilty to her own fraud charges, got probation, but violated it within a month by trying to steal from a Sephora. Currently serving 6 months. Jenna testified against everyone in exchange for immunity. Last I heard, she moved back in with her parents and is working at a call center. The Bag Ladies, 23 members, have been charged with various forms of fraud. The Instagram account was used as evidence in multiple cases. It's been called the dumbest criminal conspiracy in state history by local news. Trevor and the other victims, we formed a support group. We meet monthly for beers and to share dating horror stories. Trevor's engaged now to a kindergarten teacher who, in his words, thinks a designer bag is the reusable one from Whole Foods. I'm doing great. Actually, therapy helped me recognize the red flags I ignored. I'm dating someone new. Her name's Amy. She's an accountant and she insisted on splitting the check on our first date. When I bought her flowers last week, she almost cried from happiness. It's nice dating someone who appreciates gestures rather than demands them. The emergency credit card canceled and replaced. Now it's in an actual safe. The best part? Last week I got a letter from Brianna through her lawyer. She wanted to apologize and hope we could start fresh when she got out because she's learned so much about herself. I sent back a one-word response: no. Her lawyer actually called me and said, "Good call, man. Between you and me." She asked if you were still single in the same conversation. To everyone asking if I regret pressing charges, absolutely not. She's exactly where she needs to be. The fact that she tried to steal $8,000 after already stealing thousands in small purchases, the fact that this was her business model. Nah, no regrets. Sometimes people show you who they are. When they do, believe them. And when they commit felony fraud, press charges. Thanks for following this absolute train wreck. I'm gonna go enjoy my life with someone who thinks a fancy date is trying the new Thai place downtown and who gets excited over a $15 bouquet. Edit, since people keep asking, yes, I still have the Ring doorbell footage of her meltdown. If you're loving this wild tale of karma and drama, hit that like button and subscribe for more heart-pounding stories straight from real life. Your support means the world. No, I won't share it, but yes, it's as glorious as you imagine. Edit 2. The Queens Don't Settle podcast episode got taken down after legal threats, but someone saved it, and it's floating around on various drama channels. Her lawyer apparently cried when he heard it existed. Edit 3. For those asking about red flags I missed, the biggest one was when she said her ex was crazy and controlling for wanting her to contribute to dates. Should have